what's up, everybody? This is Dejan, the owner of Tinae's Wealth Management. Just checking in to give you all a brief tax preparation video on the child and dependent care credit for $8,000 for one dependent and $16,000 for two dependents. Now, I wanted to give people a lot of insight on how this actually works as far as working with your taxes, because I've been getting a number of questions from people. So be sure to know we are doing tax preparation. I will post it in the description box below at 904-708-8082. Check out the website and we can help you out. So one of the things that I want to talk about is the child and dependent care credit. As far as being eligible, the child has to be 13 years of age or under, or they can be a dependent or someone who is disabled, meaning, they can't provide for themselves. So in order to claim this child and dependent care credit, depending on the number of dependents that you have to be sure that one, the child is 13 and under, or they have to be a person that physically can't do something for themselves. Also, that child has to live with you throughout the year, meaning, 6 or more months. So if you've had the child less than the other custodial parent, then you cannot just go out and apply for this. This is for the custodial parent. So I definitely want to make that clear before we continue to move forward. So let's just talk again about the credit. This is not the IRS saying, hey, if you have one kid, you get an $8,000 credit or deduction, or if you have two children, you get $16,000. It does not work that way. On Form 2441 IRS form, you'll see on there where you'll list the actual name of the business that's basically taking care of services for your child. So it could be a daycare, it could be a house nanny that comes over to watch the kid, it could be an after school program. Each of those are qualifying expenses. What's not a qualifying expense is things like food or clothes or things that you normally have to do for the child. Now, with that being said, there's also a number of people saying, well, how do I know I'm able to apply? Well, again, I tell everybody, if you spent money on your child, they increased the limits this year. So before, you may have heard that they wasn't going over $3,000 during the 2020 tax year. But for the 2021 tax year, a lot of people are now seeing that they increased that limit to $8,000 for one dependent and $16,000 for two dependents. But not only that, you were able to deduct up to 35% in previous years. In 2021 filing year, of course, you'll be able to deduct up to 50%. So let's just say, hypothetically speaking, you spent up to $4,000 in childcare expenses throughout the year, and you have one child. That means that you can deduct up to 50% of those costs, at least if they're qualifying expenses, which means you'll technically get back about $2,000 in that case because they increased the limit. So that's the way how you look at the child and dependent care credit. It's not just saying if you have kids, we're going to give you $8,000, because a lot of people are getting confused with this. I know there's a big difference with the actual child care tax and the child and dependent care credit. So there could be a lot of confusion between these programs. So again, if you're paying someone starting this year in 2022, what I want to say is, one, ensure that your nanny or the daycare that you're going to is reputable and they can be traced. They have to have, a TIN or some type of social security number so that the government knows who exactly it is that you're working with. Another key thing that I want to point out is that both parents must be married. They cannot be filing separately. But if they're not just married, they can also be, I'm not going to say separated, but let's just say, these people are co-parenting, for example. As long as both parents are working, whichever parent is the custodial parent is allowed to go out and apply for this, of course, on the IRS forms, of course, when they deal with their tax preparer. But I also want to say, if you're one of those individuals, let's just say both parents aren't working, then you technically wouldn't be eligible for this credit because you're already at home with the child, assuming you're not working. So it has to make sense. And I know a lot of people have a number of different contingencies, but that's why I say you need to reach out to a consultant, a CPA, or an attorney so that they can break these things down for you. So again, find a professional who can help. You can contact myself. I'm available on tinaeswm.net. It's in the description box below. or you can contact us at 904-708-8082. Keep in mind the early bird appointments are $69.75 up until the start of the filing year. And for businesses, we're charging $175. So make sure you lock in these affordable rates while you can, because I already know a lot of states are averaging about, let's just say, $200 per return. So make sure you're claiming this credit. So on Form 2441, you'll see a breakdown of the child and dependent care expenses that were paid throughout that year. So be sure you get this confirmation from any company that you do business with. And it's pretty much just going to be a standard ledger that just says, hey, Dejan Tinae paid X amount of dollars for X child over this period of time. And you can use that to verify with the IRS just in case they go back and audit you. So Part one consists of naming the providers, having their addresses, their social security number or EIN of the business or person, and the amount paid for that service. Part 2 discusses the qualifying person and the cost of qualified expenses. So you want to make sure in Part 2 that you're adding that child's first and last name, their social security number, as well as the amounts paid for that particular child. Now, make sure you're the custodial parent, meaning that the child has been with you, 6 or more months, and that you pretty much have that taken care of. Both parents, again, have to be working. If they're not together, they still have to be working. And if one parent isn't working, then you typically aren't eligible for the credit, because that means one parent can technically be at home taking care of the child. So again, it has to make sense. Now, for the 2021 change, this is a lot different, because in 2020, when you pull up and you look at, let's just say Part 2 and number 3, it says don't go over $3,000. But now in 2021, it says don't enter more than $8,000 if you had one qualifying person, and $16,000 if you had 2 or more people. So that's a big change that has came. And not only that, last year it was 35%, and now they increased the deductible rate up to 50%. So that's really good, being that they gave us a lot more money to work with. And I think a lot of people should pay more attention to that, because again, there's a lot of money that the IRS is putting out on the line, and you don't want to miss out on this opportunity. Again, and to conclude the video, be sure to reach out to us for tax preparation services this year. We are offering our services on our website in the description box below. You can call 904-708-8082. We can talk to you about our services and everything that we have to offer. Or you can just continue to subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit the like button, and we'll continue to post free game. Thank you again, and you all stay blessed.